Today, I'd like to share a story of the word quarantine. In human history, the spread of infectious disease to mass numbers of people is very common. According to historians' opinion, pandemics started when humans began farming land and living in communities. It increased as trade between communities and the nations increased. At that time, there was often no medical treatment to prevent or cure the diseases like smallpoxes, influenza, and etc. In this case, isolating the sick was the only effective public health defense. With many other pandemics, the best chance at prevention was to keep sick people away from healthy people. This is called a quarantine. World experts explain that the word quarantine has both French and Italian influences. In the late 1400s, English speakers borrowed the French word quarantina, which means a period about 40 days. By the way, quarante is the word for the number 40 in French. At that time, quarantine had religious meaning. Some world experts say it refers to the period of time Jesus is spending fasting in the desert. However, as the time went by, people began to use it for more than just religious situations. For instance, it refers to the delay of putting a legal agreement in place. Around the early 1500s, all city-states in Europe was using a similar word, quarantina, which was used to mean the isolation of a ship to protect the port city from potential disease. By the 1600s, English speakers began use quarantina to mean isolation as protection for disease. As the French form of this word was already being used, English kept it, but gave it a new meaning. Now it was an English word based on French spelling with an Italian definition and the Latin rules. That's the word history. The word quarantine is both a noun and a verb. As a noun, we often use it after the preposition under. If someone is under quarantine, they are required to physically keep away from others. It's often combined with other nouns. We may often read about quarantine guidelines, quarantine authority, and a quarantine system in the news and from government announcements. As a verb, we can say that some young people around the world are not fully self-quarantining themselves. So isolation and quarantine are both ways to help protect the public. They both prevent exposure to people who have or may have a contagious disease. And that is all I want to share with you about the story of this word, quarantine.